I flew to California to meet up with Moto Jitsu. We'd ride the twisties, him behind me, and he'd give me feedback and tell me what I was doing wrong. At least, that's all I thought we'd do.
But the overwhelming majority of everything you're going to learn has nothing to do with what I'm going to say, and has nothing to do with recording or GoPro footage or nothing. And all of that will make absolute perfect sense when we are done. But I do not tell anybody what the overwhelming majority is because I want it to be a surprise for a specific reason that will make sense only when we're done.
What is going on? I think some instructors like to watch students squirm. In my first 5 years of riding, my favorite kind of riding was mountain curves. The feeling of getting more and more comfortable to increase speed and lean in the curves was like a roller coaster without the long lines. I tried to keep track over the years, and I estimated I had ridden the mountains about 30 times. I felt pretty comfortable in the curves. Since I had only done one track day years ago, I knew I was likely not applying the most efficient or safest techniques. There's always someone faster, more skilled, and more serious about improving their skills than you. That's where Moto Jitsu comes in. I just call him MJ. He has taken 23 different motorcycle courses, has over 300,000 miles of riding experience, 60,000 of which was put in his first year of riding. He was a former MSF coach for the BRC and BRC2, and is currently an instructor for Total Control's beginner, intermediate, and advanced riding clinic since 2015. He was invited to become an instructor there faster than any other candidate. He has also taught at dirt bike riding courses like Moto Ventures and American Super Camp. He has done over 100 track days and taught over 400 students in one-on-one cornering sessions in the California mountains. Although most of his YouTube videos are him teaching slow speed techniques, most of his riding is actually canyons and track days. When I did a live stream with him several months before this, we talked about the idea of doing this trip. Some viewers messaged me saying he was an asshole and that they were surprised I would meet up with him. I did know that he spent 11 years in the Marines, 4 of those years as a Marine drill instructor, which I was sure would come with a direct and no BS personality type. So of course, I made sure to warn him I could cry. I think the possibility of a woman crying is any man's nightmare, even a Marine's. But personally, I never thought he was an asshole, just direct. We quickly went over slow speed skills from his master riding program, which I'll share with you in another video. Today, MJ and I will talk about how things went in the California mountain curves, and some mistakes I didn't know I was doing. I'm out here with Moto Jitsu, Fast Eddie, Greg Widmar, the hundreds of track day guy himself who never stops learning even now, even though he can do a 10-foot circle.
Yeah, so let's just summarize big picture what we did today. So
Yes.
we first came down here and we did the high-speed cornering stuff, the
Yes.
one-on-one cornering session, which I do with
Twisties.
200, you're probably the 290th
Yes.
person I've
Yes.
done so far. We did the high-speed cornering, or the one-on-one cornering session. So the way I do it, I follow the rider just to see what they're doing and see if there's any big safety issues and give a little piece of feedback. They follow me so they can get a different perspective online. And then just randomly, just out of the blue for fun, and I don't normally do this, but I took her on the back of my bike, and then I went down and then back and showed her what throttle control is, line selection, body position.
It was terrifying.
What you could actually do with the brakes, what's possible with the brakes, and break through all the myths. That if you think you get on the brakes, the bike's gonna stand up or you crash. Even in the middle of the turn, that's just a myth.
Yeah.
It all depends on how you use it. So
That was crazy.
I wanted her to feel what that feels like. So just because she's here from out of town, and that's why I did that. Yeah.
So, kind of lessons you taught me there, lane positioning. Yeah, just I was getting too close to the double yellow, which I like knew that principle in my head, because I know like MJ has showed how like if you're too close to the yellow and you're leaning over it, a truck's coming and then you're. But I wasn't. Apparently, I was still too close to the double yellow, so I needed to be more centered in the turns.
It's just so you have more options. So,
Yeah.
And the whole idea about lane selection, where you place your bike throughout the corner, what's the goal? I don't know about you guys, but I want to work less. I want to use less energy and make it easier. So if I can make the corner, this is the cement. If I can make the corner straighter because of where I place my bike throughout it with the most amount of options, I'm going to do that. Outside, inside, outside, that only works on if the corner is open, there's no oncoming traffic. But committing yourself to be all the way to one edge or the other, it better be clean and you better have a really good view. But that's not really realistic for twisty turns because there's always blind turns, there's always bicyclists or cars or gravel or whatever else. So having more options mid-turn is, because if something happens in the middle of the corner, that's what everybody fears. So I'd rather be somewhere near the middle-ish of the lane in the middle of the turn. So I have 4 options versus only staying all the way towards the outside where you only have one option, which is come back into the inside. But if the obstacle is there, you're just screwing yourself kind of because you're limiting where you can go. And I'd rather not put myself in that position. But people ride like that and they're like, yeah, I know, but I still want to do this. Great, do what you want. It's just a different way. And those are the reasons why I think that's more beneficial.
That's why I think it's so important to have someone watch what you're doing. I thought I was positioning myself properly in the lane, but then once Greg saw me, he was like, no, you're not.
So also keep in mind, so it's very easy to do so, and it's just a language thing, but it's not right, wrong, it's just preference. Like, what are the disadvantages versus advantages?
I like the safer lane position.
Yeah, and a
So
lot
I
of the
do wanna
times
do
you
that.
were in the middle. It's just mainly going to the right, you were outside.
Another thing you told me about in the twisties was I kept downshifting to slow down. So he was saying
Yes.
to use something I can control better. So instead to use my brake to slow down because that's something I could control better and get good at that and then start using downshifting, right? To slow
Yes,
down.
so it's almost like the rear brake scenario. So in my, ironically, the second most popular video I have is the 6 common mistakes riders make in the twisties. And one of them is only relying first thought engine braking. So when you roll off the throttle, that could be enough to slow you down for the corner at a certain pace. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you're going at a quicker pace or if you're just going and your first thought is to roll off the throttle and downshift and not go to the brakes, that's where you need to refocus your attention to learn the brakes, because when you roll off the throttle and you downshift, you're hoping this will slow down my bike enough for my comfort for this corner. If downshifting does not slow you down enough, what are you going to have to go to anyway?
Yeah.
You're going to have to go to the brakes anyway, so you might as well just go to the brakes
Get in
because
the
you
habit.
control the pressure
Yeah.
when you get onto it, and you know if you want to. Now, say the engine braking is too much, and I have to get back on the gas. But if instead you didn't downshift, you just roll off the throttle, you slow down a little bit to your comfort, maybe you didn't have to downshift. So the brakes are under your control when you want to use them as much as you want to use them. When you downshift, you're just like, well, I guess the engine's going to do it, and you're relying on a machine to do what you should be making the choice to do. And sometimes I go riding around, I only roll off the throttle, I only downshift, I don't touch the brakes. However, I've learned how to use the brakes, and I only don't learn downshift. So you learn everything. Again, the same thing like I said, learn everything, but the priority is the damn brakes, especially the front brake.
Damn
The front brake
brakes.
is the most important thing you could ever do on a motorcycle, because why would you go fast if you can't stop fast? And under your control about the front brake pressure is the most important thing, which I demonstrated for you on the back of the bike.
That was terrifying!
It's,
It was terrifying. It was like a roller coaster that stopped right in the middle and then kept going right in the middle of a high-speed curve. Oh, God.
So you tell me what you would think about this. And I didn't tell you what I'm about to ask you, so this is total blind. I'm going to go on the back of the bike again. We're going to come down and do the same pace we just did. But this time I'm not going to use the brakes. I'm just going to hope that downshifting will slow me down enough to make the corner.
Okay.
What do you think is going to happen?
You're not going to slow down that much.
Yeah, we're going to fly off the cliff because I'm not going to slow down enough.
Oh,
'Cause
well, let's not
only
do
rolling
that.
off the only downshifting is not going to slow me down enough to make these damn corners. So that's not.
Well,
that
yeah,
shouldn't
as
be the-
fast as he was going,
That
that's
shouldn't be
true.
the go-to. It should always be the brakes. The brakes are the most. That's the first initial thing to go to. Learn how to do
Okay.
them, when to use them. Just understand pace determines almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I took you down that way, no brakes. Because for me, that pace wasn't quick. I'm just
Yeah.
going easy.
I like the easy one. It felt good.
If we go at a little bit
relaxed.
quicker pace, only doing this isn't enough. And besides downshifting, I'd rather use my control, how much I want to slow down, and that's always with the brakes. So, and the front brake is the priority to learn because the rear brake has less power, so it's not going to slow you down as much. But sometimes I only ride in the twisties, only using the rear brake.
Whoa.
You have a tool on your
Just
bike.
to practice it?
Just to practice. And I don't mean one turn, I mean like 40 miles of twisties, rear brake only. Sometimes I ride 30 miles of twisties, go all the way down, then come all the way back one-handed, just to practice counter steer. And so you practice one thing at a time, and you get good at that one thing, and then you bring it all together, and now you're the well-rounded rider. And look into the future.
Oh yeah,
Look
just looking further ahead. That was
Plan
another
ahead,
thing.
look ahead.
Plan
And your
ahead,
eyes
look
should
ahead.
always go first before the bike, because you wouldn't shoot a gun and then point it. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you lean the bike and then decide to look? Make sure it's clear
I
before
was
you
doing
commit.
that.
And a couple of times, I could physically see your helmet do this. And you're like, oh, it's straight. because you're kind of looking down. Once you realize straight, then you kind of got back on the gas. Like, oh, it's a straight line. I could accelerate now. But you probably could have done that sooner if getting your eyes up off the ground. We're all going the same direction. But some people started earlier than you. I had this opportunity. I put in this amount of work. You've been riding on the weekends randomly. You had family and kids, and you took a lot of break off, and you come back into it. I can't expect to start playing basketball tomorrow and be dunking on LeBron, right? It'd take me 1,000 years to get somewhere near the close, because he just started earlier and he's been doing it his whole damn life. Same thing with golf or anything else. I've been doing this for a while, but it's been a concentrated courses every month and thousands of miles every month, because we live in San Diego where it's 70 and sunny year round, so I could ride all the time. And I'm just kind of crazy tunnel vision focused, where I'm like, I'm going to do one thing and practice this until I can't get it wrong. If you do something 2 out of 10 times, great. If you could do it 9 out of 10 times and you're not messing up, you finally got it.
All right.
Anyway.
Corning with Moto Jitsu, done.